Hi, it's Markco, and I want you to stop what you're doing right now and give me your full attention because in just a few minutes I'm going to show you exactly how Kevin and I went from being poor and flat-out noobs to becoming one of the most recognized names in the World of Warcraft. I'll also show you precisely how you can copy our results quickly and painlessly so that your accounts look just like ours. But before I go any further, a big kudos to you for watching this video. The fact that you're listening to this right now indicates that you're finally ready to play WoW like the pros, by the simple fact that you're willing to inform yourself and discover new ways to beat the odds and master the World of Warcraft. Now here are the cold hard facts. Without devoting at least 4 hours a day to the game, you're screwed. You can't even consider being at the top of your server, right? Wrong. What if I told you that by this week you could have everything you need to make a killing in World of Warcraft? That you could top your battle group and acquire all the latest season's gear, bulldoze your way through all the latest in-game dungeons, and be among the first on your server to grab the best epics, and earn more than enough gold to buy anything you could possibly want in the game? Would you give me just 5 minutes of your time and listen to every word I have to say? Because if not, bye-bye. Go ahead and take some time to prepare yourself. However, if you said yes and you think you're ready to finally take control of your gaming destiny and attain the results you truly desire in half the time, then buckle up. I can't wait to get what I call the WoW Crusher system into your hands. But before I delve any further, here's a little background information about how Kevin and I met and how WoW Crusher was born. I'm not one of those people who go around tooting their own horn, but I've been the driving force and founder of Just My Two Copper, the #1 gold-making site for 4 years running, drawing in tens of thousands of visitors a day and fostering a thriving, dedicated community at the JMTC forums. In fact, open a new tab, enter WoW Gold Guide in Google right now, and you'll see my site ranked #1 on the first page, out of 25.8 million searches. We're also the #1 site for the search term WoW Gold Tips out of 16.1 million pages on the internet. What can I say? Even the almighty Google has deemed my site the #1 WoW Gold Guide on the internet. So who are we to argue otherwise? Loyal followers of my site might have noticed that I've stopped writing articles on JMTC for over a year now, choosing instead to focus my efforts on other projects. In fact, rumors were swirling that I had grown tired of the game, which was true to some extent. But what the public did not know, until this very moment at least, is that I was busy working on what I envisioned to be a radical game changer, something that would be my lasting legacy to the WoW community, and I would call it WoW Crusher, a system that would reveal a simple yet all-powerful tell me exactly what to do guide so I get all the gold and epics I want without the need to play long hours. So basically, I went into my manic productive state, locking myself in my room for hours on end on this top-secret project. This creative frenzy lasted 2 weeks, then 2 months, and before I knew it, 6 months had passed. And like all masterpieces, I eventually hit a snag. And that's when I met Kevin. Picture this. It's the final day of the BlizzCon WoW Arena tournament in Anaheim, California. I had made my way to the front row to catch the semifinals of the tournament, and lo and behold, right in front of me was Kevin. An imposing dude with messy black hair and a face stilled with concentration. It was obvious that this guy was a pro. The huge crowd that were watching intently knew it too, oohing and awing at his every move. I leaned closer to get a better glimpse of what he was doing, and that was when something on his screen caught my eye. His UI interface was unlike any other I'd seen before. It was clearly an add-on of some sort that was helping him in the game, and perfectly legal too, considering that this was a legally sanctioned Blizzard event. This was exactly what I needed for my project, the missing part of the puzzle, something that could simplify your gameplay and promote lightning-fast reflexes in crucial situations. It was like I had fallen into a hole and stumbled into a gold mine. It was within arm's length, and so I bided my time and waited till the match was over to approach him. I introduced myself with a firm handshake and poured my heart out. I had nothing to lose. I told him about everything, my strategy, my research, my plans, the countless hours I was spending trying to create the ultimate guide. I literally begged him to hop on board my project. He stood still for a moment with a look of pity that I'll never forget, and finally, he cracked. Turns out he was a huge fan of my site and had recognized me at first glance. Damn rascal had me jumping through hoops just for kicks. We ended up talking for hours and hours, discussing how we were going to work together to turn this dream into reality. And eventually he got to telling me about the add-on. He told me that he had put in hundreds of hours studying the rules, the structure, and the architecture of the game. Hundreds of hours of trial and error learning from the best players had gone into this program, and the last thing he wanted was for it to fall into the wrong hands. I literally had to twist his arm and convince him to include it in our guide, after making him an offer he couldn't refuse, of course. Don't worry, no threats or innocent beings were harmed during the course of negotiations. Here's the shocker though. To my surprise, the add-on doesn't just look good, it actually works too. Shockingly so. It will provide you with the best possible build for every class and situation. And since this system is implemented in-game, all you have to do is log in the character you want to spec for, and talent points will automatically, or manually if you so wish, distribute the talent points for you. All the optimal tanking, DPS, and healing specs are available for every purpose you can imagine. It was literally the add-on that would crush all of the other add-ons. After getting Kevin on board, it was all systems go for the next 2 weeks as we worked tirelessly testing and tweaking, cutting out the stuff that didn't work and scaling up what did. And eventually we got it down into a kind of perfect system. To this day, when I think about the moment we completed the project, I get goosebumps. I mean, this is my greatest accomplishment to date. I'll never forget how alert I was when I actually completed it. The hours and hours of video on every aspect of the game imaginable. Hundreds of pages of quality information and pictures, firing up the add-on and watching it load on the interface. It was like 5 shots of espresso directly into my veins. You might be wondering, why would I take Kevin as my partner, if it wasn't obvious enough already? 4 main reasons. I didn't want to go through what Kevin went through to learn how to kick it with the best of them in the battlegrounds. This guy has dedicated a good 6 years of his life honing his reflexes and training just to get where he is today. I wanted it now. The only way to skyrocket up the ladder is to team up with this 900-pound force of nature. Second, I figured out that the ingredient which would make WoW Crusher the game changer I knew it could be lay in the in and outs of class builds, battlegrounds, and the arena. I could certainly deliver the goods in the gold-making department, and Kevin was the missing link, and he's the best out there. Third, I actually like the guy. Sure, he has a weird voice and can get a little crazy manic at times, but that's because he has so much dedication for the game. And when it comes down to it, he's pretty cool. Fourth, and it's a biggie, there was something more that we were both missing out on. A chance to truly help players around the world take a swat at being a pro, without pouring as much time and energy into it as we did. Seriously, it was a lot of time. We knew exactly what we could do to help out newbies and seasoned veterans, and that was when WoW Crusher was born. Now, let's be clear on something. This isn't an ebook. It isn't even just a membership site. It's basically us drawing a line in the sand and saying, winners on this side, everyone else, step back. You're about to discover a proven blueprint that is so radical and game-changing that it's transformed the gaming fortunes of over 8,258 players so far in our sample test program. In a nutshell, it's a tale about how we went rogue and said, screw the gurus, this is how it's done, and went ahead and created our own system. And in case you're wondering, these methods do not involve cheap tricks that will get your account banned. They do not require you running around like a headless chicken playing more than 2 hours a day, and it certainly does not require reflexes of a ninja or godlike gaming skills. All you need is your computer, a mouse, and the reading comprehension of an average 5th grader. Now here's something that might interest you. Most people don't know this, but I'm just as serious about raiding as I am about making gold. And it's not about bragging, I just want to show you that I've been at the top of my game for years and how you can achieve all of this with just a few hours of play each week. As you can see, on this account alone I have close to 1 million gold. And that's not all. I'm a sucker for legendaries, and here are just some shiny objects I have sitting around in my backpack. Presenting the Twin Terrors, Sulfuris, Hand of Ragnaros, and Thunder Fury, Blessed Blade of the Windseeker. These babies have been with me since the days when the level cap was 60 and 40-man raids existed. Moving on to Burning Crusade, I also have both Wargales of Azzinoth that drop from Illidan, and Thoradol, the Star's Fury, the legendary bow I got from Kil'jaeden, the final boss from Sunwell Plateau. My obsession didn't stop there. If I recall correctly, I was the first on my server to attain the elusive Shadowmourne from the Wrath of the Lich King. Additionally, I also have what Wowpedia deems to be one of the rarest and most coveted items in the entirety of World of Warcraft, and perhaps the crowning jewel of my possessions, the Ashes of Alar Mount. Getting excited yet? To wrap things up, in breaking news, I just got the Flametown of Alazrazor today while raiding. What can I say? I'm quite the lucky devil. What makes this mount so sought after is that it's also exceptionally rare, just like the Ashes of Alar. Now, I know you must be thinking, this guy must have spent the last 6 years doing nothing but playing World of Warcraft, and you know what? This assumption is probably half true. I can't lie, I started out just like you, stumbling and falling many times in my quest for true greatness, but once I mastered the ins and outs of the game, something truly shocking happened. I started making a lot of gold. My arena